Welcome back to the Longview PD On Air podcast. I'm your host, Michaela Vaughn.
I'm Ryan Rocket.
I'm Carrie Higginbotham.
And we have a very special guest with us today. We have with us the mayor of the city of Longview, Mayor Kristen Ishihara.
Perfect. Good job. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. Glad I got it right.
You did. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
This is a moment that I didn't know that we were going to be able to make happen, not because of getting you actually in the room, but because of being trusted to conduct an interview with you. So
It's been a long time coming.
Professional.
I've known Carrie long enough that is a reasonable question.
yes,
It's a professional interview. Right. I've got that in my notes, actually.
Be professional.
but yeah, thank you for coming. Thanks for making time for us.
Glad to be here.
So we want to start off just a little introduction on you, family life, background, anything you want to talk about, really.
Sure. I have been the mayor for just right at a year now, and that's been a fun and exciting ride. My personal life, my husband and I just celebrated 16 years of marriage.
Oh, congrats.
Awesome.
Yes. I mean, we didn't actually do anything, but I celebrated in theory that we've been married and successful for 16 years. And we have two children, a boy and a girl. They are both going into high school at Longview High next year, which is terrifying for mom, but very exciting for them. And we have one dog, and yeah, that's probably about it.
That's cool. What does a mayor do for fun when she's not busy?
She pretends she's not the mayor, but yes, for fun personally, I read books. I go running with the Longview Loopers. I'll give them a plug there. But yeah, that's what I do for fun: read and run.
When we were waiting on you,
because I was late.
That was pointed.
no, man, that throat clear came at the most inopportune time. We were waiting on you. I was telling him, I was like, by the way, the mayor reads more books than any human I've ever known. Because it seems like every week, every 2 weeks, you're like, hey, here's the books I read. If you want to read them,
I do like giving
are.
them away. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was one stack you had. It was like from 2 weeks. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 17. Like, how do you have that kind of time?
I mean, I read easy books and I do it instead of watching TV. It's my
touche.
it's my escape time. So yes, yeah. I mean, I read about 70 books a year probably.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, they're all easy. They're not, every now and then I throw in a learning book, but they're mostly just what I enjoy doing.
What's your favorite topic of book?
I like female suspense, like crime solving things that have, women.
I've always some of the books I've seen you read were about influential women leaders. I've seen you read a bunch of those. That's why I was like, I bet she has a penchant for those.
I have a type,
strong leader books.
Yep. Yes,
good stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I always like that you're like, hey, I read these books. Who wants them?
Yeah,
you always give them away.
Yes. Well, I don't read them again.
And you don't have room for that.
No.
Where would you keep that many books?
No, no good.
Favorite book?
Oh, favorite book ever. Actually, I have a couple of those, but they're not on the topic of what we're talking about. The Genius of Generosity is a really great book. It's a short read. And also The Treasure Principle. Those are both really short books that talk about the importance of giving and being generous. So those are actually probably my favorite books.
Oh, you should give those away.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't have them anymore. She gave them away.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So where are you from?
Originally, Midland, Michigan.
Michigan.
Yes.
Wow.
What brought you from Michigan to Longview, Texas?
My dad worked at Dow Chemical, and so when me and my brother both graduated, they moved to Texas. They waited to do that till we got out of the house. So they live in Lake Jackson now. My brother lives in Houston, so everybody relocated to Texas. So when I went to law school, I went to Baylor and then got a job out here in Longview.
Cool. Mm-hmm. You happy with it?
Overall? Yes.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up.
I hate
going to make
place.
a change. Right. No, yes. Texas is wonderful. It's nice that my whole family is here now, too. But, Longview is the best thing that we ever did. So I got a job out here, and then Rich followed me out here. I met him at Baylor. So
Cool.
Mm-hmm. We've been here 18 years now.
Man. So just out of curiosity, coming to Baylor, you studied law there.
I did.
What was it that you were like, that's what I want to do?
When I graduated from Western Michigan, I did not have a job or a path. My major was sociology and public law, and I have an uncle that's a lawyer, and he was like, hey, you can't get a job with either of those things, so maybe you should think about law school. So I did, yeah, but I really didn't have a plan. And then when I graduated law school, I got a job out here And then being a lawyer is really nice that you can kind of move around and figure out what the best like fit is. So I tried several things before I actually started doing what I do now, which is nice.
It's interesting coming into this job. I had no idea how deep or wide the pool was for specialties as it relates to a lawyer. You know, growing up, it was just like, oh, he's a lawyer. Well, that's like saying there's a doctor. You could be a brain surgeon. You could be just a ER doc or a heart surgeon. You chose a pretty niche fit in law as an elder lawyer.
Yep, estate planning and elder law. And yes, people assume because I'm a lawyer, I like to fight. I do not like to fight. I don't like contested stuff. I don't go to court and interview people. I just work with people and help them make an estate plan. Or if somebody passes away, I help them transition assets. I get to help people all day. It's fantastic, and I love my job.
It's really neat because I had no idea until we came to you for our will and stuff like that, and I didn't understand all that stuff, and I had no idea that if we didn't make a plan for that, like we could put our kids in trouble. Not in trouble, but it would definitely create a headache that was easy to overcome.
Yes.
So
very important to have. Only about half of adults have their estate plan in place, but it's really important. People don't think about it when they have minor kids either. So, the hard decisions when you have minor kids are who would raise your kids if you and your spouse both passed away. But then the different decision is who would handle their money. And that may not be the same person, but if you don't make those decisions, then Texas law will make it for you, and it's not always what you would have chosen. So, yeah.
That's good stuff.
So you said you've been the mayor for just about a year now. So let's get into that. How did you get into public service originally? Because you didn't just become the mayor. So let's talk about basically the road to being the mayor.
Sure. When I first moved to Longview, I did leadership Longview with the chamber.
Okay.
And so that was one of the first things that I did after moving here. And I got introduced to a whole bunch of people. And one of the days talks about different, community aspects, and they have different directors come. And Laura Hill was the director of parks at the time. And I asked her how we would get a dog park in Longview. And she told me, because J.D. was the mayor at the time, public-private partnerships. And so I worked with her in the Parks Department to open the dog park here that's along Borman Trail. And that was a nonprofit that we started and funded and constructed. But just kind of got involved with the process through that. And then I started serving on the Parks and Rec Board. And then when the council seat in my district opened up, the city manager at the time asked if I would consider running for it because I'd been kind of just doing city committees and other things at that point. And I said, sure. So I did 9 years on city council and really enjoyed it.
Speaking of leadership Longview, as you were saying that, I got an email saying that my application was processed and I was selected for one of the 2 spots here in Longview.
I really enjoyed it. I actually, of like the things that I did right when I moved here, that was one of the most important because it was really like you meet a lot of great people, you do a fun project, and it's really, it's been an excellent journey.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to it.
It was very eye-opening when I went through it. I was kind of shocked at the things that I was kind of like, I feel like I should have known this, but I don't know how I would have.
You went through 2 sessions ago, not this most recent one that just finished or is completing right now, whatever their stage is, but the one prior to, right?
Yes, sir. It
was
a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've seen the work that the different classes do, and it's been something I've been interested in for a little bit, and I don't know, kind of exciting to see that was
exciting.
That was selected.
Very exciting. We're starting, the city is starting a new program called Longview in View, which is kind of I don't know what I want to say a spinoff, but kind of the same idea. One thing that I really wanted to do as mayor is just get more people involved. We do not have the level of engagement that I think we can or should. And so just trying to be creative on how we do that. And so Longview in View will invite people to come and have a city class where they look in depth at those departments. Because it's like, you may be paying attention, you may be involved, and it's like, maybe I should have known that, but how would I have?
Yeah.
Right? So just if you want to come learn, and I think it's a great opportunity for the people that love us and the people that hate us. Like, I need you all in the room together, and if you have a different opinion than me, fantastic. Let's talk it out. We may not agree, but we're all going to get better because you have this opinion, I have this opinion, and we're going to be able to talk about it together.
It's very much in line with a program that we have established here at the department. We have our Citizens Police Academy, Business Police Academy, a Teen Police Academy. But sounds like it's just a more broad for the city as a whole and not just specifically to this department.
Yes. Well, and there's so many good ways to get involved with the city. We have boards and commissions that people can serve on. I mean, if you are interested in engaging, please don't just complain on Facebook. Please come
Please.
and learn and be a part of the process. If you think we're all idiots and you could do a better job, great. Come to Longview in View. Come do Leadership Longview. Come do all these things and then do it.
Yeah, at that point, we're giving you the steering wheel, saying,
Yes.
help us get to where we need to be.
Absolutely.
And the InView is open for citizens and everybody.
Yes.
That's super cool.
Anybody that wants to do it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
And
And it's like the recaps, right? So the idea is, how can you give information to people that want to be involved, you know? Because maybe I don't want to watch a 2-hour council meeting.
Or maybe I work Thursday nights. You know what I mean?
Yes. So Richard Yakeley, it was his idea actually to do the city council recaps, but I've had a lot of people say they enjoy them because it's hard to get information in sound bites, and even getting it from the News Journal, which does a great job. But if you don't subscribe, you don't see anything but the title, and so getting the actual information is pretty hard. So how do you get that to people? So I love the podcast because it does that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How do we get what the PD is doing to people so that they know and they feel like they could walk up to you and say, hey, good to see you. I'm not, scared of your uniform. I think you sound like a regular person who says silly things on a podcast.
That's us.
That was oddly specific. The part I like that you talked about that even until I went to Leadership Longview, I didn't realize is that for every decision that when you were city council as a mayor, even the city manager's office, when they make those decisions, there's often a board of the citizens who are interested or concerned. Like until the park stuff set up their commission and their boards, or let me rephrase, when I found out about it, I was like, that's really cool because people are coming up with all these great ideas that maybe somebody who has a job over there doesn't even think about because they're trying to keep what we have. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. If we did this, we would have more recreational opportunities for the citizens and it would make these other things easier. I thought the park commission was really cool about how they were like, tell us what you want to do so we can put it there so you can do it.
Yep. We really do want you to say what you want, right? I mean, there just has to be an avenue for it. But I think that's what is great about your local elected officials. You're going to see me at Skinner's. You're going to see me at the gas station. So, tell me what you want. It may take a while to get something done, or it may not be able to happen, but I do want to hear it. We do want to hear from you and understand what you want Longview to be.
Well, even in some of those, out of those ideas with the Parks Commission, it seems like once the leaders found out, like, oh, this is what people want, they were all of a sudden like, hey, we found grants for this. Now it's not even something as hard as for us to do. We were able to source funding for this through grants because somebody said, we want that thing.
Well, it's about data and about studies. So the comprehensive plan that the city adopted in 2015, I was the council liaison at that time, and that's how the 2018 bond happened. That's how this building that we're sitting in here now happened. Because the city paid for a comprehensive plan. They had citizens devoted from each district that came together and said, here's the things of the plan that we'd like to accomplish. And then put that out to the citizens as a vote. But it all is like the actual planning and engagement of citizens that drives that forward.
So that's the of the people, by the people part.
Yes, yeah.
We should write that down somewhere. That's a good one. That's awesome.
Yes.
So on the trip to being a mayor, as a city council person, those terms are
3 years, and you can do 3 of them.
okay. Is that like a city thing that says that you can only serve for 3 years as a city council person? So is it different for every city you go to?
It is, yes. Term limits are different for every city you go to.
So there's some cities where it could be 1 or it could be a dozen?
Or none, yep. No term limits.
What made the city of Longview land on 3?
I don't know the answer to that, but it did happen in our lifetime because I think it was when Andy was on council originally is when they added term limits.
Okay.
I do think that people run their course of new ideas, right, and run out of energy. So I do think term limits are appropriate, just in general, for myself included. There's only so much energy you can put towards something and new ideas you have, and while there is something to be said for people with experience. New energy is really fun too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I love a new council person that comes in with ideas and enthusiasm, and they're ready to change the world, and that's fun and exciting.
Okay.
So you were the District 4
Yes.
council person for how many terms?
3.
3, and it was almost 3 full terms. Is that correct, or was it the 3 full?
No, I made it, and then I had a year off and came back.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yep.
So when you were in your position as the council person for District 4, what's that one thing that you look back over the 9 years you represented the people of that district and you say, man, I'm so glad I had a hand in this?
Actually, the biggest impact I had as a council person is the bond election, because I was the liaison, and then me and Ed Moore did all of the promoting, all of the touring Rotary clubs, and all of the promotion, and the PAC that formed to support that. Those were that's definitely my biggest actual impact. I would say what I'm most proud of is actually just helping on individual issues, which was really neat to see come back when I ran for mayor, because people that I had helped with, a small issue or something came out to support me when I ran, and that was very meaningful, because I don't know, I'm getting teared up, but if you contact somebody and they don't call you back, it stinks. So it was really fun to see that people valued that I did try to respond quickly.
That's awesome.
I know that I think the first time I saw that in action was after I promoted to a position in the department where I was more engaged with community events and not just the day-to-day work of the department. But I went to a town hall meeting. In fact, it was one of your town hall meetings over by the Posados and stuff over
Emotion?
there.
That was my last one. Yep.
And I was blown away by, one, the number of people. That place a lot of people showed up for that. But then the questions that people were asking and the things that they were asking for help for. And at just first immediate instinct is thinking, well, why is this such a big deal to somebody?
Yep.
But then you sit down and talk to them and you realize that what may not be a huge deal for me individually, because it's not something that has a direct impact on my life or has an effect on me, really is a big deal to somebody else, because everybody has their own lives that they live, and just because it's not my life doesn't mean it's not impactful. And sitting down and talking to a lady about the amount of traffic that's coming down her neighborhood, and she was pretty fired up about this.
Yes.
And I talked to her for probably 10-15 minutes after the meeting was over that night, and learned a whole lot about her. And I still talk to her probably every 3 or 4 months.
Awesome.
She'll shoot me a text message or give me a phone call. But she was so incredibly grateful to see not just that she was able to express what it was she was wanting to discuss, but to see that people were willing to listen and take action where action could be taken.
That's exactly right.
I don't know, it was a pretty cool experience to see that side of it, I guess.
Yes. It is an opportunity always for people to be seen and heard, and that's what they want. Even if you cannot solve the problem, you can be there, you can be present, you can care enough to give them the time to listen, and that's what makes a difference.
And what I like about these things, too, is it goes full circle back to programs like InView and Leadership Longview, because in those, you kind of understand, like, oh, these are the resources, these are the things that are set aside for us to address these problems. And it's almost like once you go to that, you become a force multiplier for your friends, because you're like, oh, that's a niche problem, but we have somebody who that's their job. If they just know about it. And half the battle is always trying to figure out, this is a problem that is in need of this resource, and I know how to get that.
Yep. And it's building the community and building the networks. And that's what's great about National Night Out. That's what's great about building communities. Like, the more people that you put together, the closer you are to solving that problem, because the resource probably exists already in Longview. You just may not know how to find it, but you need the connection to the person that can find it, or the person that cares enough to show up and help you navigate that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I think that's what's great about Longview. People do care. They do want to help. Sometimes we're just not doing it in the right way. But if we will do it with love and respect and building relationships, there's nothing we can't figure out.
That's a soundbite. I like that.
I was like, that is, yep. I do like that. But resources were what I took away from Leadership Longview the most, was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know we had people that did that.
Yep.
And that's after I'd been here for 15 years.
Yep.
You kind of look in the mirror and go, this is probably your fault for not knowing that. So it was really, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Well,
it.
you don't know what you don't know. And until you need it, you really aren't going to go investigate it. We're all busy.
Yep.
Yeah, but I love a town hall. I mean, a good town hall is so valuable, hearing what people want, because if you don't give them the avenue to come tell you, they're going to tell their neighbor, and then we're going to feel bad about living in Longview. They're going to put it on Facebook, and then we're going to feel bad about living in Longview. And if they have a place to come tell somebody that can help them and listen to them and help solve the problem, I mean, then everybody wins. So, Longview gets better. They feel heard and seen, and it's a win-win.
I like it.
You do have to adjust your attitude though, because the initial like response is kind of like, stop complaining. So you do really, it has to be a full like shift into this is an opportunity to help and make us all better.
Yeah, and oftentimes too, which I know is you end up catching the emotion of the frustration of like this might be a problem that somebody's been dealing with and a burden they've been having to bring with them everywhere for years, and then one day they're like, hey, there's a town hall, and I'm going to let them know.
They're going to hear from me. Yes.
Like, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know, but this is something they've been dealing with for years. Those are the problems personally that I like to help solve the most. Is the one where people are most mad, and you can tell like this affects this. Like you were saying, every day this person's dealing with this, and then one day the problem's gone, and I just in my head I'm just like I hope that they feel the sense of relief that I got in satisfaction solving that.
Yep, it's a blessing to help. It really is. But yes, and the more opportunity you give them, the less angry they are. You know, if it builds up for 5 years, I'm real mad about it. I understand. But
yes. And then some of them you're like, you should be mad about that. We should be fixing that.
Yep. And I love when we come to city council chambers and they're full with people that want to say things. I love to hear it. You know, come on. We started sending thank you cards to people that come and speak, just trying to like shift the mentality of, hey, we're glad that you're calling. We're glad that you're involved. We want you to call and complain. Yeah. I mean, maybe do it with a positive attitude and a smile, but like give us the opportunity to help, and that's what we want.
Right.
Yes, I love it. That's a good idea. You got a lot of those.
I love people. I really love people, and I wish that there was a way for me to communicate that better, because the role is weird in that people assign different things to it, and I really just still want to love you. Like, I just want to help solve your problems, and
I can imagine that's probably one of those when you're serving because you like to serve, but it requires involvement in politics. That's a duality that I don't know. In my opinion, they don't go well together. And again, in my opinion, I'm not sure they're supposed to go well together.
They're not. Yeah, if you're doing it for the right reason, because you're a public servant, you don't really like politicking, but you don't really have a lot of choice. So
No.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, as some lady told me, you got to take the butter with the bread sometimes.
I mean, I like butter and bread, so I'm not sure that I get that analogy, but I understand what you're saying.
When I asked her that exact question, she goes, well, baby, you'd look like a real fool if you just walked around with a tub of butter. I said, yes, ma'am, you're probably right. Yes, that's a good point.
That's funny. So you obviously we've talked about you have a full-time job.
Yes.
That you do outside of your mayoral
Mayor
duties.
does not pay.
Right.
Yes.
What is a day like for you? Because you've got all these responsibilities within the city that people expect you to be the problem solver for.
Yeah.
You've got the answer. You're the mayor. By God, you have the solution, but you still have a family and you have a job because you've
Yes.
got to support that family. And
Yes.
how does that work?
Somebody has to feed the kids. I for the last, I'm 43. And for about 5 years, I've been working on like kind of balance just in general. So I've been working on that for a little while. But for me personally, I am a go to bed early, get a lot of sleep, get up early person. And I typically exercise in the morning. And then I read my Bible and I spend some time with God. And then I'm full-time 8 to 5 at the law firm working and meeting clients. And I try to build in my city council time to work so it doesn't take away from my family as much as possible, because I have 2 kids that need me more than the city of Longview needs me. Right. So after 5 and on weekends, I am a little protective of my time. But of course, sometimes city council does require me to do things then, and that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I have enough cushion at work. I have a good staff. I have good help. I have a good law partner. I have a good husband. I have a lot of good resources in my life, and a lot of good friends in my life. And so I have enough margin to respond if I need to city things. Me and Roland and Marianne meet every Friday, so we have designated time set aside where we talk about things, make plans, send out information as needed. But I do city council stuff all day, every day, in responding to emails. I meet with city council regularly, and
There's a lot of events that we wind up going to, and it seems like you're at every one of them.
Oh my gosh,
And
everything.
I don't know how you have the time. It blows me away. You and the council members that show up to all these different things while balancing your own life.
I just think it's really important. You know, everybody has a certain amount of time, but we all make priorities for things, and I think it's really important to show up. So I make that a priority.
I like it. What
Here's what I like. As the leadership of the department, our chief gives us books every few weeks, books on leadership, servant leadership.
That's awesome.
Like really good topics. And in one of them, as we're talking about this, you reminded me of what has become my favorite quote now. And this guy said, preach the gospel, and if necessary, use words.
Yep.
And going back to that, talking about getting involved is you brought up every city event I've ever been to, whether it's like Friday Night Live and I happen to be patrolling downtown, or it's any of these town halls, city council meetings. I don't know this. I've been to one that you haven't been to, and I don't go to all of them.
Yeah, I really don't go to all of them, but I do try really hard to make it a priority to make it to the ones that I think make a difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that you preach getting involved, but every time I look around, dang, she's here. She is involved.
Well, and I do try to do it in a way that's not like I'm coming in just for the greeting and then leaving. So if I can't come and stay for the event, I actually just probably don't come.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a little
Feels cheap.
right.
What's the hard part of the job? What kind of challenges do you have? What's the stuff that really makes you ponder?
Yeah, a little bit of it is just I've had to work on my thick skin, and because you cannot, as a council member, we made hard decisions, but I guess I wasn't wearing the ultimate hat, so nobody blamed me 100%. Now I'm wearing the hat, and so it's been a surprise to me that I'm like, oh yeah, that was a hard decision, but you don't like me because of it. Like, that's been a challenge. So just working through that, but I mean, you can't do anything meaningful without people disagreeing with what you're doing. And all things are going to be a balance. So helping get information out on both sides is what I think helps solve that problem. You're still not going to agree with me. But so like recently I'll give you a PD example. We've had people complaining to us about getting pulled over or getting tickets. And I've recently heard Chief Boone give this example. So I've used it a bazillion times now because I love it, that several years ago, the average amount of stops were about 25,000, and last year they were 40,000. That's due to your traffic enforcement drive, right? And not everybody's getting a ticket. He told me 1 in 4 are actually getting a ticket. So we're just, helping people realize that they're unsafe drivers, because for years now, we hear people talk about speeding on their street. People are driving distracted. People are running red lights. So you hear that, but then you start pulling people over and they complain about that too. So what I heard him say that I think has been very meaningful is in the first quarter of this year, our traffic accidents were down 20%.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful. I can take that message and I can share that with people. So you're upset about getting pulled over. Well, you were obviously driving poorly then. So I'm sorry that you continued to do that. But here's the benefit, right? Because, you have to be able to present both sides, and they still may be mad about getting pulled over, but there is a meaningful safety benefit to the community. And so the job of the mayor and city council is to support the initiatives that are going to make Longview better in the long run, but then also help communicate the message about why this is important. So it may impact you negatively, but here's the overall good that we're trying to do, which is to lower traffic accidents and make you safer as a driver.
That's such a good point, because we were talking about that the last meeting as it relates to what was the result of those. And when you start looking at it in the first quarter, we were down over 100 traffic accidents. But what does that actually look like? Well, I can tell you that at a minimum, it looks like 200 people were not in a situation that literally has bad impacts potentially for the
Life or
rest
death.
of some. Yes. Yeah, at a minimum, that's assuming that there were only one person in each car. That's my kid. That's your kid,
right,
not getting smashed up in it. That's the part where it's like, just so you know, your mom might have been one of those 200 people that drove home
Thank God.
safe. That's
Thank you for doing
part,
what you do.
yes.
Like, it may not feel good because somebody's mad at you when you pull them over, but there's the result.
Yep. And it's just like it gets equated to, nobody likes grounding their kid when they bring home a 55 average in science. But when I ground them and I make them spend time to study, and then the grade's a 95, like, okay, didn't feel good, but you're better because of it.
Right.
And that's not to say that I'm calling anybody children, but
No. I love
metaphor
doing hard
remains.
things. I think that is the role you have to have, but I've had to work on it. You have to have a thick enough skin to do the hard things that need to be done, because otherwise you can't please everybody. I mean, that's just a personal life. You need to know that anyway, but here it's even more obvious. Can't make everybody happy, so you have to do what you know is right, get it done, and then be willing to withstand the criticism that comes from it. But
I'm sure there's no shortage.
yeah. Yeah. And some things are big and some things are silly. We did, I have asked code enforcement to make sure that we're following our temporary sign ordinances correctly. People get mad about having to take down their feather flags or their banners. Those are illegal, but we've not done a great job of enforcing that in the past. But I don't really believe in having rules that we're not going to enforce. So they're there for a reason. If you want to change them, great. Put together a task force, bring a proposed change. Glad to change it.
Yeah. That'd be a high cost. It's nice to hear the good things, but wearing that criticism personally would be a hard thing to turn off.
Yeah. Well, you just got to turn off social media.
Oh,
I mean, I don't have anybody say anything negative to my face. I really don't. Anybody that sees me personally, they're not saying mean things to my face. They're just saying it online. So you come off of Facebook,
that's
okay.
Joe Rogan. I listen to his podcast every now and then when I like the neurology people that he interviews at times. And he says that the biggest thing in his life changed when he stopped reading comments.
Don't read the comments.
Yeah.
You do not read the comments. Yes,
stuff.
if you are commenting because you think I read it, I do not.
That said, I know that you will answer your phone when people call.
That's right. If you want to talk to me, email me or text me, and I will respond to you within 24 hours. But I'm not reading your Facebook comments.
No.
Sign up for Longview and View.
Perfect.
What's the as your time either as a city council person, because that was far greater than your time as mayor, but including both, what's the one that you're like, man, I wish I could have done a little bit different on that?
Ooh, golly, that's a tough question. I would say since taking over as mayor, I tried to do a lot of really hard things up front before we built council relationships, and I probably would have slowed that down if I had to do it again.
What do you mean?
We, on my first council meeting, the night I took over, put changing the homelessness ordinance on that meeting, and we voted on it. We put the pool on there, and we put the animal, the individual who'd been attacked and killed by stray dogs. We put looking at the animal ordinances on that one. It's just a lot up front before I'd really had a chance to build relationships. I would not change any of the things that happened, but I would have maybe allowed time for more relationships to build, because that's what we've kind of had to work through over the last year with council. I'm in a new role. We have new council members. Just building the relationships, and the team has been, I put tasks ahead of relationships, and I probably would have done that differently.
Yep. That's a good reflection.
Yeah. I love getting things done. I love checking things off. I love getting them done. But for me personally, I have to slow down and remember to build a relationship before I try and push something on you.
A solid team can take you a long way.
Yes.
Yep. Looking forward, what are some of the blips on radar that you're like, oh, that one's coming up?
I generate a lot of, I send a lot of emails. I love summarizing and sending things out, and I love people to be informed, and I love all those things. We're going to launch some task forces. That's kind of hard to say.
Forces?
Yes.
Forces?
I'm not sure the right.
Forcibles?
Yes. Multiples. But we're going to do some of those in an effort to bring people together to bring recommendations back to council. So I've actually not announced those yet, but we'll be doing several in the area of homelessness and engagement. So right now I'm anticipating that those will be coordination, which will actually be directly related to the post officers and how best to coordinate systems and information sharing with other entities that are kind of frontline working with that. Mm-hmm. And then one will be housing. We know we have an affordable housing need in Longview, and recently started a study to look into those needs, transportation and mental health and health. And then I think we're going to do a separate engagement one, just because that's near and dear to my heart. I am not the smartest person in the room. Other people have good ideas. I mean, just look around.
I think your degree says doctorate at the bottom.
Yeah. Other people will have, I'm exhausting all of my ideas on how to engage people. So I would like to put more people in a room that can have ideas on how we engage people. So I think we'll do that one as well. We also currently have ongoing a Sidewalks to Nowhere, a task force looking at how, if any changes need to be made to that. So I'm not afraid of change. I just want to put people together to tell me what to change.
Yeah,
Right.
and when we do change, how does this affect the greatest amount of people for the better, not for arbitrary reasons that are immeasurable?
Yep.
Yeah, change for the sake of change.
Oh, dude,
doesn't accomplish
We
it.
get to say it. You heard it here first.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I'm excited about those because I hope it'll engage more people in the process and, come up with the right ideas that we need to do. Some will be easy, some will be really big, but it'll be exciting.
What are some of the ways that you feel like, because you're identifying engagement as one of those that you're like, we need to fix this. So I don't have most social media platforms. I have one. How do we get engagement? How do you plan on getting more people involved when they, in some cases, don't even know that? Like, how do we get the word out to people that don't know?
Yeah, I think that's what we're working on. I think it's got to be touching different communities. So when we
Yes.
look at an engagement group, I'm hoping to bring, the non-English speaking individuals on how to engage that community. I go everywhere that they invite me to speak. So I went to the apartment association group there, and because we use water bills to send out information, their residents don't always get water bills. I'm like, oh yeah, you have to
That's a
touch everybody and then figure out how to reach them the right way. So that's why I try to go anywhere somebody invites me, and especially if they're inviting me to speak, because then they get the opportunity to ask me questions, and I always learn something. So how can we bring all those people together and solve that? Because it can't just be Facebook posts. And I mean, Facebook's like my age, right? It's not even what they use anymore. So I'm not on whatever people are actually using these days. So it can't be that. What is it? I don't know. Can we use CitySend to push notify people?
That's a good idea.
Like Longview ISD recently started texting information. Well, I do read that, so like there's better ways to do it. We just need to figure it out. I don't know the answer. I really don't, except for showing up where they invite me and asking them to tell me. I don't personally have a better answer.
That's an interesting hurdle. Height unknown.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everybody's dealing with it, but voter engagement could be better. Just getting people involved, I think, in some sort of process would be good.
So on that note, for a mayor election, what's the engagement as it relates to voting?
Yeah. For mine, it was like 5,000 people, but there's 82,000 people in Longview, right? Like it. Yeah. Now city elections are off. I mean, a presidential election or something else will have a much higher engagement, but
I've always found that ironic
Yeah.
because the greatest impact on most people's lives is at the local government level.
Correct.
That's always been very interesting to me.
Yeah.
how do we boost that kind of engagement?
Yeah. I really don't know besides just getting people to care more or see that it makes a difference.
Or see that they can use it to make a difference.
Yep.
Right.
Correct. Yes. So I really encourage people to get in touch with their council members because they really can help you do stuff. We have a very engaged, very active council now, so they would love to hear from you. So if they can help you with a drainage issue or a pothole issue or a tree that fell or whatever it is, reach out to them directly, and they really will respond to you fast, and they want to help, and they want to try and help. And that's, I think once you have an experience with someone where they've helped you with something, that gets you engaged in the local process.
Mm-hmm. It's a good, and the CitySend app is awesome.
Yep.
See something, say something, and it gets dealt with.
Yep. Very effective.
What do you see in store for Longview? Let's talk 1, 5, 10-year goals. What are you looking at?
Yes. I am just trying to build out kind of 1-year goals for myself right now. But that's building programs and getting people excited about engaging. So the things that I'm working on this year, Connect Longview is a program that used to exist, and we kind of revamped it and restarted it. But it's if you have a neighbor that has overgrown grass or abandoned vehicles or junk and you're calling the city because they are not meeting city code, our code officers go out and talk to the individual. Connect Longview would ideally set that person up with a local organization of volunteers that want to come help with property maintenance. So can step in. So as opposed to the Longview city employee having to write that person a ticket, They might be a senior, they might be disabled, they're on a fixed income, they can't physically do the work or pay for it. So there are people in Longview that will come help. And so we've relaunched that program. There's probably 30 projects on there now. So if you have an organization and you want to plug in and help, that's on our city website now for you to do that as an organization. We had a meeting and invited all the churches and civic organizations to attend. So we have a lot of people participating. That's been very encouraging, and I'm excited about that. Next week, we're going to have a meeting on a healthy initiative. So we have so many wonderful, trails and parks and great things to do here. So how do we encourage people to be healthy? I mean, picture it'll probably be like a weight loss competition, or log your exercise hours, some sort of competition with prizes that we'll invite the community to participate in, and we'll want encouragement. But I think as much as you can draw people in to start doing things, they'll try and engage. So that's my short-term goal. And then my longer-term goal for Longview, our Economic Development Corporation does an incredible job of bringing business, and we need to be able to address on the other side the workforce as well as the quality of life stuff. Downtown is my very favorite success story. So, when I moved here 18 years ago, there was nothing in downtown, nothing at all, not a thing. And the city had a bond that improved the infrastructure and the roads and made it look nice. And then the chamber and the city did a small area plan where they kind of visualized and asked for community input. It was a committee of engaged community members. They got public input, and they came back with, here's what we want downtown to look like. And from that, they actually did like windowscapes showing, like where Oil Horse is now. They had windowscapes in the window showing what it could look like if there was retail there. So they help paint the picture of what downtown could be. And from that, private individuals came and invested in downtown. And now,
it's really cool.
It's incredible what's happened down there. But what it taught me was that people have to live downtown for there to be people downtown and businesses to survive. And I would not have otherwise known that if someone hadn't told me. So we supported the petroleum building. That was a split city council vote. So understanding how important it is to invest from the city perspective downtown, but then seeing other people come meet it because we painted the picture. It's been pretty cool. So we could do that in a lot of different areas in Longview. So I'd like to see that happen for various areas as well.
That's cool. There are some really neat apartments that are downtown.
I just like all the little shops and the restaurants. I mean, our downtown, it's beautiful. I come from a town that didn't have a nice downtown area, so I love it.
Yeah, but that was us 20 years ago. I mean, that's what I think is so great. It was a slow success story, but it is a success story. So it's pretty cool. And everybody came together to do that.
And that's to your point. What I like about it is it's not like chain stuff.
Yes,
it's like local.
yes.
Hey, my name's Steve, and this is my restaurant. I want you to eat here.
Right.
It's really cool. That's what I like.
It is very cool. And now the bistro lights downtown with the lighting looks awesome.
I just saw those. Yes,
so good. Yes.
Yeah, those just went up a few weeks ago, right?
Very cool.
And
I've always liked the murals.
Yes.
The murals and like on the power boxes and the things on the corners.
Yep.
It's just it's a better look for the town.
Yep.
It makes a difference. Then we have like Art Walk, things like that downtown where all these
Downtown
booths are set up and
yeah.
you've got people with their just things that they make and they offer for sale. And I don't think there's any cost for them to have a booth. They just sign up with the city and they get stuff set up and it draws people in. And I don't know, you meet some pretty cool people out there. Yeah. Some really neat stuff that people come up with.
My son, he does the art walk stuff, and next to us was this lady. I thought it was so cool. I don't remember her name, but she would make these like really cool cards, and she would get this picture or idea in her head, and then she has an old flower press, and so the color of that she wants, she finds flower petals, and it gets pressed. Oh, it was so cool.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
So cool. It was so pretty.
It's very cool. The Historic Farmers Market is also really fantastic on Saturday mornings.
We've had a lot of other events just from private entities who have wanted to host or sponsor events downtown that we've had. We've had some concerts down there and just some really cool stuff to get the community engaged with the local businesses that are there, and it changed the whole atmosphere. It's pretty neat.
Yep. Community effort, but yes, very exciting.
Are there any other big things that you're looking forward to for City of Longview? Or little, anything you're looking forward to?
Well, I am really excited about the Eastman expansion. That's pretty huge for Longview. It's $1 billion investment in
say,
our
Oh, wow.
community.
Billion.
So, yep. I mean, we've kind of gotten used to it, just big expansions, but I mean, they're really exciting. Gap, Dollar General, everything that LeadCo has been doing, and then Eastman is just, I mean,
So for the everyday person, we're talking about $1 billion business expansion for that. What does that look like as it relates to impact?
Yep, it means so much to the city of Longview for the workforce that will be here, for the other developing manufacturers that will come around that. I mean, it's a community changing type of investment to have that much of a huge capital investment happening there, but then, right, the ripple effects from that will be an agreement with Eastman regarding how much they'll pay us to provide services to them because they're outside of the city, but we have I forget what it's called, an agreement with them that we provide services and then they'll pay us annually for it. So we benefit financially from them being here, just directly financially to our bottom line, but then also from all the people that will live here, all of the new businesses that will come here. That'll be sales tax, property tax, capital investment, people spending money here. I mean, just
That we get to in turn make city parks,
Yep.
beautify our downtown,
Yep.
incentivize other businesses to come in with.
Yep. Give cost of living raises to employees. Yes. All of the important budgetary things that city council is focused on doing. Yes. Result from that.
And that's just one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff.
When is that supposed to actually kick off and get started?
I believe they're supposed to start construction next year. They have some federal grant funding that's getting worked out now, but yes, committed to the expansion. So
Well, one that seems to be a big one is the recycling program it's starting back up.
yes.
What's the story with that?
Yeah. So this is a different provider. So
Okay.
and I think it's actually because of Eastman. So Eastman coming will take our bottles and recycle our bottles, but they'll need a someone to take them, like filter and then provide to them. So I think ultimately we'll end up with a whole lot more recycling options here. Rivers is coming back online, but the one that we're doing now is a different provider. It's a new provider. And so I forget how much they can take in volume, but it's pretty incredible at Eastman. So they'll be getting shipped bottles from all around the country to process here. And it's new technology and it helps recycle. It keeps things out of the landfill. We buy most of that product from China now. So it would be replacing a stream that we're getting from out of country. So it's all really exciting.
That's
But,
awesome.
Yes. So I think that we will see all of those types of facilities start to pop up more.
That's really good.
What do we have coming up?
We have the Junior Police Academy is the first week of June. I'm not sure if registration for that is full or not, but sign up early if you want to do it because the class it's a limited size class and it fills up pretty quickly.
Who's that for?
I think you have to have completed 7th grade and then you can't be over 21.
Okay.
So if you're interested, sign up for that. We've got Juneteenth stuff coming up.
Yep.
We've got the Great Texas Balloon Race stuff coming up.
Yep.
There's a lot of
Freedom
stuff
and
going on.
fireworks.
Freedom and fireworks. There's a lot of stuff going on. So just get engaged and check out our Facebook pages.
Yep. Look at City of Longview's Facebook page,
Yep.
the Longview PD Facebook page,
Yep.
and we'll keep you informed with all the community happenings and going ons.
Thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
this
you.
has been a long time coming on the episode. So
Yeah.
we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come talk with us.
Thank you for having me. And I do want to say I truly value all of the professional policing that you guys do. And I am so grateful that anytime we have anything happen in the city, you guys are on top of catching a bad guy, handling and making things safer. I mean, there has been nothing that's happened since I've been mayor that wasn't resolved almost immediately. And so I know you're right. Yes. But I just am so grateful. I mean, that's been such a, there's plenty of things that cause problems for city leadership or the mayor, and you guys are not it. You are on it, you handle it, and it's been a real blessing. And we're so proud of everything that the police department does and really grateful.
Good. Thank you for that.
I'll close this out. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
No outro music?
Wanna hear you go.